Hey, what's up everybody?
Hello.
Welcome to another weekly Wednesday live stream. I'm Peter.
My name is Eric.
And let's get right to it. So today, as promised, we're gonna talk about... No, not that thing.
Why not?
Because, it was all in the news, CES, everybody's sick of that thing. Plus, I could fill like a whole stream with this thing.
So what are we going to talk about then?
Well, not this. So let's just take this off the table.
Can we do this next week?
Literally. Maybe. If you behave.
I want to overclock.
Oh, we're gonna overclock, alright. But we're gonna overclock on something a little bit more your size.
Can you take lightning again, please?
No.
I just want to compare.
Oh, come on. It's not about the size, Eric.
I know, but...
Okay. Well, just for you guys. So here's just a little bit of a size comparison. Guys, so this is the RTX 2060 Gaming Z. Just for reference. And this is the RTX 2080 Ti Lightning Z. So there you go.
Big difference. So
big difference.
I take this one to my side?
No. Because then we're never going to see it again.
It plays Battlefield. So.
Oh yeah, it does. But this thing does too. And I'll show you later on in the stream. So today we're going to be talking about the RTX 2060 series and specifically the Gaming Z. Because the Gaming Z is the best model you can use for gaming on the RTX 2060 line.
I have a commercial break.
You have a commercial break. Well,
Yeah.
Before we get into too much information indeed today, we have a giveaway, guys. So, courtesy of NVIDIA, thank you guys very much. There's a bundle running at the moment. If you buy a 2060, 2070, you get a game code and you can choose either Battlefield 5 or Anthem. Anthem releases on the 22nd of February, so you won't be able to play it just yet.
No.
It's going to be a really nice game as well, though. So, but you have to choose if you buy 2060 and 2070.
If you buy 2080 or 2080 Ti...
Come on, you're spending so much money.
You get both games.
2 games.
Yeah, and they're really cool games.
Yep.
Both run on the
Ray tracing.
Frostbite engine.
Yeah.
No. Anthem is not doing ray tracing.
No, it's it will have DLSS, which we'll discuss a little bit later as well.
Yeah, but
anyway.
visually, wow.
Yeah. Both games.
Anyway,
really
go
impressive.
to MSI.com
/2/insider. If you're a regular watcher, you know where to go.
I will
we'll
put it in
also
the chat
post
as well.
it in the chat. Don't worry about it. And of course, so today what you can win is we have a couple of game codes. Thanks to NVIDIA, they provided them, where you get to choose one of the games. So if you win a game code, you can choose either Battlefield or Anthem. So it's one of the 2060, 2070 codes basically. So go to MSI.com /2/insider. Eric will put it in the chat right now, so you guys can just click. You don't have to memorize it or type it yourself. Click on the
checking
button.
if the landing page works.
Of course you do. Well, but click on the link. Make sure you subscribe through the Gleam link. Subscribe to our YouTube, to our Twitch. If you subscribe to both, it'll give you more chance to win. So do that, I'd say. And yeah, just that's all it takes. That's all basically you need to do to have a chance to win today. So we're gonna give away multiple codes. So yeah, I'd definitely check that out if I were you. Is it working?
No, so
What?
I'm messaging somebody. You continue.
All right. Well, you're the director. I can't do it alone.
Yeah, that's
I need you. All right. Anyway, so yeah, very nice game. So today we're going to be looking at this card, and before we start, however, I'm first going to take one step back, and for you guys who don't know too much about what is 2060, the reviews were posted, I believe, 1.5 weeks ago or something like this. So, yeah, you kind of get an idea what it is. Yeah, we can go to this presentation.
Yeah.
So, let me tell you a little bit about, 2060. So, of course, we all know the ray tracing, the RTX cards, 20 series that NVIDIA announced last year already. This is the latest one, of course. I think it's available since yesterday in the shops. So you'll be able to get it in the shops wherever there's stock. And their slogan for this card is RTX, it's on. And I think what they mean by that is that this is a card with also a price point. MSRP of NVIDIA was around, what was it? $350? Something like this, $350. That's like the starting point. yeah, I mean, it's ray tracing at a little bit more of an affordable level. It's still relatively expensive to the last generation, but you know, you get more performance versus the last generation, plus the added benefit of ray tracing and the tensor cores. Both have very specific.
Tensor cores are the AI cores, right?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
For DLSS.
So yeah, let me show you guys a little bit. You know, technically maybe, but everybody probably knows this visual by now, right? This is Turing. This was the Turing GPU, and this one technically is called the TU102. That's like the full die size. You know, the biggest GPU.
This is like 2080 Ti, right?
This is like 2080 Ti indeed. 2080 probably looks similar, but you know, some areas disabled. Let me give you the schematic look. This is kind of, you know, you'll find this on some in tech sites like AnandTech as well. They give you this schematic overview of the full GPU. So this is the full 2080 Ti basically. So every GPU, so the 2080 for example, has a few less cores available. 2070 is pretty much half of this size. 2060 is even a little bit less. So this in comparison is the 2060, and as you can see, even on the right side there, there's a few cores and a few shaders and all that kind of stuff disabled. It's not disabled because you know, they needed to make a difference. This is basically because NVIDIA makes these chips and not all of them are perfect, so they will check and see which ones are guaranteed to run at 100% yeah, what it should do, and that's the 2060 for you guys.
Yeah, so I have an interesting question. Samus Zero is asking, MSI, if I buy a card, a VGA card, a graphics card in the US, yes. Do I get warranty worldwide?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I think that should not be a problem. I mean, if you buy an official MSI VGA card, there are some fake ones I hear from time to time, but entry level in like.
Just make sure you buy it from a reputable place, you know, the seller. Don't buy it from, you know, if you buy it secondhand, it's always something shady, or indeed, you know, one of those platforms, secondhand. Yeah,
but then warranty should not be a huge problem. However, there is one big issue with that, because officially we don't offer direct warranty. We offer warranty to our customers, which are the resellers, which are the
shops that you buy from,
distributors, indeed, and they are the ones who offer you warranty.
Exactly. So they are your contact points. So if you have any trouble, you need warranty, you should go to the seller, basically, to the person you bought it from or the shop you bought it from. They should be able to arrange the anything that's needed, any service support
so
with MSI.
If you buy something in the US and you're, for example, living in Europe or in Asia and you need warranty, you will need to find a local reseller who wants to accept your RMA or your item, indeed, and wants to process it. From our side, it should not be a problem. So if he sends it and he's not the purchaser from us, if he sends it, it's covered, no problem. There might be some exceptions. Iran. Could be, right?
You know, North Korea. I don't know.
Okay, go.
All right. So where was I? Yes. So this is basically the TU, which stands for Turing, of course, 106, and that's like half the die size of the full Turing chip. So that's pretty much schematically, at least, what you can expect. So logically, you would expect, all right, so then what, performance should also be like half, maybe a little bit of half of 2080 Ti, right? Sounds reasonable. Well, let's look at some of the performance numbers. So first we're going to look at the performance numbers, 1080p, ultra settings, no RTX. So because RTX, you know, in the games that have it enabled, like Battlefield 5, of course, it has a big impact on the FPS, so it'll skew the results. So these games are all run with no RTX on, it's just rasterizing the way that most games still do all the calculations and the rendering. Anyway, as you can see, it sits there at around just above 100 FPS. This is an average of a lot of games. We borrowed these figures from Hardware Info, which is a Dutch media site that does really good reviews and research like this. So they run a big list of games for all these GPUs, and then they take the average FPS. So, you know, some games can get like 300 FPS if you're looking at a competitive or old game. Some games can, you know, especially the newer, very graphics intensive games, they will get less FPS. So this is just to give you some concept of,
it's like an index.
you know, on average, should it be able to run most games on ultra at this resolution? Well, so the FPS on average you should be expecting is around, well, just above 100, which is perfectly playable, you know. So for 1080p, of course, to be expected, 2060 is a very good card. In fact, the performance is just above 1070 Ti and just under 1080 performance. So, you know, quite good. If we're looking at 1440p, then also again, ultra settings, no RTX, so 1440p or WQHD for you people who know the short names. Almost 78.
Doesn't sound like a short name.
WQHD, the W, you know, it sounds very long. But anyway, 78, pretty much 78 FPS on average. Still think, really good.
Yeah, I think this is the sweet spot, right? If you're looking to 1080p, you know, of course.
It's kind of overkill, but you know, if you're going to run it, and you can always switch back. If you have a 4040p monitor, you can always run games at a lower resolution. So you can always do that if you want to go for FPS. But, you know, anything above 60 FPS, we consider to be playable. Depends if you use a shooter or if you play a shooter. Usually you want higher FPS, of course, but most games, 60 plus.
With this, you know, if you have some frame drops and you go to 60, it should be okay.
Yes, exactly. So you've got a nice margin there.
And this is ultra settings.
This
so
is
you have the best image quality, the highest
like
quality.
the maximum setting. So you know, this is like worst or best case scenario depending on how you're looking at it. But again, you know, it's kind of like in between 1070 Ti and 1080 performance. So yeah, pretty good, I'd say. You know, for 2060, really nice performance you can expect there. If we're looking at 4K, well, this is what Eric just mentioned. You know, you want to go for 60 FPS at least, you know, for a smooth experience. And this card at 4K is kind of, you know, lagging behind. Again, still, it's somewhere in between 1070 Ti and 1080. But, you know, with 45 FPS on average, it's debatable. So it's down to you. If you're okay with it, then, you know, you can always do that. Of course, this is ultra settings, so that means if you're also willing to compromise a little bit on settings, you know, tune some of the settings down, you could probably up the FPS quite a bit. So it is doable. It's not really the perfect card for 4K, and it's kind of to be expected, you know.
Yeah. So I have a few questions. Some of Mighty Gyro. He's asking, is the MAG24C on the NVIDIA FreeSync list? I think NVIDIA doesn't want you to call it FreeSync list.
No, I don't think they have a FreeSync list, but we know what you're talking about.
Yeah, indeed. Later we're going to play with this. We're going to demo a little bit. So
for those of you who don't know, NVIDIA is now supporting what we call adaptive sync. NVIDIA is calling it a G-Sync compatible. That's it.
G-Sync compatible monitors.
Yes, so it's basically adaptive sync, which is an open standard, and they've enabled it for pretty much all 20 and 10 series cards, as far as I know. But they also want to make sure that the monitors that they officially support and they officially hand the badge to, basically, are officially compatible. Also, don't give any problems. So they've made a list of the monitors that they've tested so far and which are compatible and they know are problem-free. And problem-free, I mean, most monitors, if they have adaptive sync, they will give you the option to enable it. But some monitors can give you some flickering issues and stuff because, remember, this is quite new still and it's not really fine-tuned yet. Also, these panels weren't created with this in mind, that they were going to be supported by NVIDIA cards. So it wasn't really.
It should be. I mean, it's just
developed
open
together.
Standard.
It should be indeed, but I mean, in practice, we've seen that there are some issues.
Let's later look at that. I have another question. Let me see.
Bring it on.
Yeah, can we switch RTX on or off during gaming for mobile GPUs? Well, if you have a
mobile GPUs,
if you have a new mobile of a new notebook with the 20 series inside, and they just launched.
First of all, congratulations.
Yeah, because
it's really nice.
You are one of the first, I guess. I mean, they're just shipping, announced last week. If you have one of them, you know, in games like Battlefield, you just can go to the menu, switch off ray tracing, switch on ray tracing, no problem at all.
Should be pretty much like in desktop GPUs. You could just, I'll show it to you guys later on as well in Battlefield 5. You could just switch it on or off, or switch between the settings, because there's multiple settings.
Yeah. Is overclocker scanner available for RTX chips? Yes, we later also will look at that. So maybe we just continue. I mean, we have a lot of
questions which kind of we will get back to later on in the stream.
Yes.
So before, we don't want to spoil too much, or we're done in like 10 minutes and then call it a day. It's too easy, guys. Anyway, so 4K, basically, well, we don't really recommend it. It's not the card for 4K.
No.
I mean, that's where you really get into 1080 Ti and above. So 2080, 2080 Ti.
Even
those
I believe
cards,
1080 Ti, in some games, depending on the engine and depending on the settings.
It's always a matter of, some games yes, some games no.
I would say 1080 Ti used to be the 4K card, but now for sure you need to go to 2080 or 2080 Ti.
Pretty much, yeah. Those ones will give you an even better and
it also shows in the benchmarks.
Yeah, you're more likely to get the results you want. So
absolutely.
There you go.
Ray tracing.
So ray tracing indeed. So these were the results without ray tracing or RTX off. So now let's turn RTX on. Here we go. So we've got again tests done by our colleagues at Hardware Info. Thank you very much for this. So these are numbers done in Battlefield 5.
I think people can see it's 2060, right?
At 1080p resolution. Yeah, pretty much. So, but just above Eric's head here, that's 2060.
Yeah.
So, of course, only tested on the 20 series. And here you can see these are on ultra settings. So, ray tracing has multiple settings, multiple levels, basically. Yeah. Like normal graphics levels.
We did some benchmarking before, and we showed it also on a live stream.
Yeah, it's hard to spot, to be honest, sometimes.
If you go to the lowest setting, you can see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But for medium...
So there's 3 settings. There's, 4 actually. There's off. That's also a setting.
Yeah.
There's medium, there's high, and there's ultra.
Yeah. So this is the highest one,
yes,
and it has quite a big impact on the FPS.
Yeah. So as you can see there at 1080p Battlefield 5 at the moment, there are patches maybe still coming out with DLSS that can make a difference.
So this is, to be clear, this is Battlefield 5.
Yes, at 1080p
with the performance improvement, because first they had ray tracing, and at the beginning, it was really slow.
Yeah.
Everybody complaining about it, but then DICE came with an update, and Nvidia came with a new drivers.
Yes.
And this improved the speed of ray tracing like almost double.
However, these are not including yesterday's driver update, because yesterday was also a driver update from Nvidia. We haven't seen, and I don't believe that DLSS is actually enabled in Battlefield 5.
The patch notes don't mention it.
I think if it was included, it would have been mentioned. I'm really sure about that.
But let's I mean, this is Ultra, so let's maybe...
So both Ultra settings in Battlefield 5 itself, everything on Ultra, and ray tracing on Ultra. So don't forget that, guys. And so there you get, with the 2060, you get around 55 average, 2070, 70 FPS. 2080, 83, so again, if you go, especially this is a shooter game, so you do want to get kind of towards 100 FPS. So there, 2080 Ti on on ultra settings for ray tracing. Yeah, that's kind of where you want to be at the moment. Again, maybe DLSS will make some big progress on this, big difference. If we're going to the lower ray tracing setting, I say lower, it's still called high.
Yeah, actually, nobody can see the difference between this,
It's very hard to spot.
Yeah. So, and you directly go to 60 plus FPS.
There you go. Yeah, so it's already way more playable. Funnily enough, however, for 2080 Ti, it doesn't make a huge difference. 2080 also not really. I'm really surprised about this, because you would expect there to be a big increase.
Yeah.
Not that much. 2070 also not really. And if we even turn it down to medium settings, here we go. Well, there you go. You get over 70 FPS for the 2060. The gap becomes a bit smaller.
Medium, you start to see the difference in image quality of ray tracing. Yes. So this is not what we want 60
really
FPS
and
we want good quality settings. Yeah. So this is not what you need to go for.
No. But remember, this is the first game that uses ray tracing in real time. It's only the second iteration, as far as I know, for the patches. So there's still a lot of headroom, I think.
Yeah, so DICE told everybody they still have a lot of ideas on how to improve performance. Of course, it's waiting until they realize that and release it, of course.
Yeah.
But this is 1080p. I can tell you, during the launch of the announcement of 2060, Nvidia announced that there will be a patch for Battlefield 5, which is not only enabling ray tracing, but also DLSS.
Stands for Deep Learning Super Sampling.
Yeah. So, and this will improve the, some smart tricks with AI, with the tensor cores to improve the image quality. But then, if you see this chart, it is about doing 70 frames at 1080p.
Yeah.
With DLSS, it can do 4040p.
Yeah, it's around the same numbers, but at a higher resolution.
Yes.
So 4040p, but you're looking at 2060 should be around in the 70 FPS, according to the NVIDIA presentation. So that's, that's quite exciting, and that's quite a big difference. So that's why we keep saying, guys, this product, if you buy it now, it's not just what you get, what you see is what you get right now. There's still a lot coming up and a lot of room to improve, and they're doing that because,
this is the NVIDIA ecosystem.
Knowing NVIDIA, they're pushing like hell on improving this and making this thing better.
I think like DLSS is I don't want to say quite easy to implement, but you see a lot of game developers who are working on that.
There are more game developers in the list of DLSS supported games or that are coming up than the ray tracing. So
but ray tracing is also a very complicated technology.
Yeah, it's kind of a thing that you change from the ground up, I guess, and DLSS can also be used in rasterized games.
Yeah, indeed. So and like DICE, their engine already supports it. So a lot of like Anthem is not going to support ray tracing, but I think it's fairly easy to assume.
Well, maybe it will at some point.
Yeah,
maybe they'll patch it in.
I don't know.
I don't know. But we will see. I mean, but again, it's quite impressive to see, to be honest. Yes, it's still not. To be honest, we've all been spoiled these past generations. With high FPS, everybody's buying 144 Hz monitors, so you kind of want to have high FPS. So making the step back with ray tracing to a lower FPS point, that I think is the big issue at the moment, or was. But you can see that already making big jumps, and I mean, I think that's all only going to improve and only going to continue. So.
Yeah, so I have some questions. Will Gears 5 support ray tracing? I'm not sure.
Not sure.
Gears of War, right?
Yeah.
I would say, yeah. It's a Microsoft title, and I did not hear about any Microsoft title so far who's going to do ray tracing. And probably they're using a lot of the same engines.
Yeah.
Let me see, another question. Yeah, some people, they're saying we already bought the 2080 or and we now miss out on the games. Yeah, it's a pity,
This is always a thing that,
you never know when this happens.
Exactly. You never know when
even we get surprised, right?
Game bundle is going. Yeah, I mean, we usually hear about it only a couple of days before the bundle actually goes live, and you guys hear about it. So we also don't really know in advance.
Yeah, Kirito is asking, when will Gaming Z be released for 2060, and will it be under $400 US?
That depends on your region. So
yeah, it's with VAT, so it's very difficult for us to comment. Some countries have like 1% VAT or states, and some countries have like 27, 28%. So but of course it's
It should be, yes, it's more expensive than the MSRP version, of course, because, and we'll show you that later as well, you get a lot more than the bare bones version, let's call it that. But, that costs money, and the cost is higher to make this card versus like, well, I don't think it's called a Founders Edition even, but, the NVIDIA variant. So let's show you guys which ones we have actually. So for the 2060, they became available yesterday, if there is stock, because as I've heard as well, in some countries the stock hasn't arrived yet, so it's still on the way. This could take a while, guys. It's just logistical stuff. It happens. We have 3 cards at the moment for the 2060. So we have, of course, our gaming line, our Gaming Z. We have the Ventus, I think quite well known model by now. It's new this generation. Heard a lot of people very happy with it. I really loved it from the beginning as well. Actually, I still have one here. Here we go. Of course, this is not a 2060. This is, I believe, a 2080.
Yeah, it's 2080.
Just for size comparison. But anyway, really nice card. Still really love it. And there is Aero ITX, which is...
actually, the Ventus 2060 is much smaller.
Yes, it is.
PCB shorter.
Yeah. It is
Still
much
2
smaller.
fan, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, and then there's Aero ITX, which is, of course, our smallest card, basically. For small form factor builds or ITX builds, whatever you want to call it.
Let me show the cards. Like this.
Here we go. So basically, there's 2060 Gaming Z, and here's the 2080 Ventus.
So somebody in the chat asked about what about X? So you have a Gaming Z, Gaming X.
Yes, I think so. Again, this is just basically down to clock speeds, guys. So basically what we do in the factory is we try to set the clock speed as high as possible. If the cards don't make the mark of the Z, so the highest clock speeds we can do, they're automatically moved down to Gaming X. The difference is marginal. And you'll still have overclocking headroom, so it doesn't really say that much. It's just if you want the highest clock speeds out of the box, Z is the way to go. That's pretty much.
Hi, Ghost Cracker. Yes, we're watching the chat. I didn't see you ask any question.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, we noticed that there were also some people on Periscope or Twitter basically asking some questions. We were trying to answer through the chat, but we noticed that it wasn't sending it through. So sorry about that. We are monitoring the chat though, so we can read it. So yeah, don't think we're ignoring you or anything like that. That's not the case.
Well, I don't see Twitter in this Periscope, so...
I've seen some coming by, but maybe everybody's really silent because they didn't see us answer before.
Oh yeah, I see some.
Yeah, see?
Yes.
So anyway, yeah. So what I can also do is, since I've got these cards here, I mean, this is the 2060, right? You guys also remember the GTX 1060? Maybe? Because... it's quite funny that the 1060 actually was quite a bit bigger. I've got one here than this card. So see that difference there? Well, it's maybe not that big.
Show the backside.
Exactly. So this one actually has some stickers on it because it's like a test sample. It didn't have a backplate, the 1060. I believe this is a 6 gig version as well, because you had two versions, of course, 6 gig and 3 gig. But the PCB is way longer.
Yeah.
As you can see. So for the 2060, actually, the PCB is a lot smaller, and so that means that it's also a bit of a smaller card. However, the cooling itself, if you put it like this, maybe you can see it.
Maybe the bracket.
Well, let's see.
Yeah. So like this is a 2-slot and this is a 2.4, I guess.
2.3, I think, officially. But you know, if it's more, we just say it's 2.5 or.
You lose a slot anyway.
A bit more than 2 anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the difference basically. But the card itself is a bit smaller.
This also has to do with TDP, right? Because the cooling is bigger.
Yeah, and TDP basically stands for rated power consumption. For you guys who don't know, I mean TDP. We're using a lot of these words who are, you know, like terminology in the biz. But TDP is basically what's the official meaning of TDP? Thermal
dispense. Google it.
Maybe.
Probably somebody in the chat knows.
There's something about thermal dispersion power. I don't know, something like that. Probably. Or design, thermal design.
Yeah.
Anyway, it has to do with the amount of power that has to be dispersed in terms of heat when it's being transferred into heat by, of course, the GPU and the memory and the inductors and everything on the card. The heat has to be dispersed. And I believe the 1060 has, what was it, 125 watts? Something like that, or 120? The 2060 actually has, what was it, 150? 160?
60, I would say.
160.
Yeah.
So it's quite a bit more. And this mainly is because of the added ray tracing cores, so the RT cores, and the tensor cores.
Yeah, indeed. So this extra silicon produces heat. So that's also why.
Well, extra processors, literally on the die.
Even another item. If you look at the I/O panel, you see we don't have Type C. And
maybe this one we can do a close up.
Yeah.
Maybe because this is kind of like a nice comparison. Maybe this is the Ventus, as you can see, and this is 2080. So here you can see this is a Type C connector. This was new this generation. And Type C is a new, can also be used as a DisplayPort. It's kind of USB. You guys know it as USB probably, but it also can be used as a display connector.
It's actually everything. It's like Thunderbolt.
Indeed. So it's very versatile.
Yeah, it's DisplayPort. It's power delivery. So actually you can charge your devices on top of it.
And there's the thing, because this thing actually needs to be powered. It needs to be able to provide a certain amount of power, which is
like
also
28 or 36 watts.
Something like that. Yeah. So it's not a small amount either.
No.
And that means that usually on the PCB. It'll have some capacitors dedicated.
Extra power delivery.
Yeah, extra power delivery dedicated for this connector.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy because we've never seen that before. So on our 2060, I've seen the NVIDIA reference model. It also has Type C.
Yeah. Founder edition.
Exactly. Our 2060 cards actually don't have it. As you can see, it's 3 times DisplayPort and 1 HDMI. So we didn't include that, which also means that we can save a little bit of power basically, or we don't have to include the extra capacitors to provide the power dedicated for the Type-C slot.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the Type-C, there's not that many monitors yet that support it. It's becoming more and more, obviously.
Yes.
But these monitors are also still quite expensive. So chances that you will have a monitor that uses Type-C and you'll be buying an RTX 2060 are not very big. So
very small even.
Exactly. So that's why we decided, probably we don't have to include a Type-C because I don't think that many people will use it on a 2060.
Tom is helping us out. Thanks, Tom. Thermal design power, TDP.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
Thermal design power.
Yeah, so a lot of people are also talking about pricing for these, compared to 1060. And I don't think you should compare it to 1060 because yes, the name is the same, so it sounds like it should compete with 1060.
Yeah.
But if you check the benchmarks, it's more like 1070 Ti.
Yeah, but I mean, generation to generation, this is what you should expect, right? You should expect more performance.
Yeah.
And I will make the argument that in terms of pricing, it's misleading You can be misled because you think, oh, it's mid-range, so it'll be mid-range priced like the 1060 used to be, which was kind of, I think, like $250 when it launched. And in terms of pricing, no, it is definitely not mid-range. However, if you look at the performance levels within the 20 series range, it is mid-range compared to 2070, 2080, 2080 Ti. So it's kind of like how are you looking at it? From a price point, no, it's definitely not mid-range. From a performance standpoint, within the 20 series, yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah. So Viet is asking a power supply for 2060, 650 watts power supply. Yeah, for a full system should
easy,
no problem at all. I think even if you go to 300 to 400 watt, because the VJ card is only doing like depending on how much you overclock. Because of course later we're going to do some overclocking.
Our card, I believe, is rated for 190 watts. So the standard 2060, I believe,
version.
So the Gaming Z version. So the standard RTX 2060, I believe, is rated for, what was it, 170?
60,
160, 170. So
and
ours is a little bit higher.
If you check Ventus, that one is running more close to the standard clock speeds. And then you go into that TDP. But this beast is redesigned for extra performance.
Exactly.
So you can, you out of the box, you have an overclock. Later with Afterburner, we're going to show some overclocking.
And to run that overclock, that higher clock speed stable, you need to have a little bit higher power supply as well.
Yeah.
Because it will take more power to sustain those speeds.
Yeah, indeed.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me see some questions.
So if you have any other questions, guys, feel free to ask. We don't know all the details, but everything we know, we'll let you guys know. We can talk about it.
BitGamer is saying these gen cards are underpowered for ray tracing and will be quickly outdated. Well,
every first generation is, if you look at it that way. But there has to be a first generation, doesn't there?
I think at what we see now, if you take Battlefield 5, which is in my opinion one of the most demanding engines out there, graphical, very interesting. And if NVIDIA is promising, they deliver on their promise, which means they can do 70 FPS at 4040p, then in Battlefield 5, even if they do 60, I think for a 2060 it's quite promising.
And of course, if there's going to be a next generation, yes, it will be faster. But if you compare the 10 series to the 900 series, you would also say, well, the 900 series doesn't make sense. It's way too... Yeah, I mean, that's how it goes.
And I'm personally very happy with ray tracing because it pushes again...
It's
the
something
visual
new.
standard.
Yeah, it's something new. It's something we haven't seen before, at least not in real time. And that's why, it purely looking at it from a technological standpoint, it is really impressive what they did here. And like I said, we're all very much spoiled with high FPS, so that the notion of having to endure the horror of lower FPS just by turning RTX on is very daunting, but it's just a matter of time. And we haven't seen this kind of increase of FPS like we saw in the first patch of Battlefield 5. We haven't seen that kind of increase on the same generation just by driver optimization and game optimization.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen that for a very long time.
Some people are already speculating about 2050 Ti or something. You know, I'm not sure if there will be more RTX cards. Because I would say RTX is ray tracing.
Yes.
And it needs to be fast enough for ray tracing. And
Yeah.
there should be maybe one 1080p ray tracing card.
Well, maybe it can be, but
Yeah.
it's debatable. I mean, again, when you're looking at the numbers of ray tracing that we just saw already for the 2060, I mean, it is questionable. Do you want an even more budget-friendly or entry-level ray tracing card where, you will know that the performance of the ray tracing cores will be less than the 2060, of course. So, I mean...
Some people are already donating their kidneys.
Yeah.
So I have a question from Abdullah. Is 2060 enough for normal gaming? Yeah, for sure.
It depends on what you mean by normal gaming, of course. But, judging by your question and how you pose it, I would say probably, yeah.
If you don't do 4K, 2060,
Yes.
I would say is more than enough.
I mean, we saw, if you just joined and you didn't see the benchmark results before, we had some benchmark results. So check out the stream when it finishes. Earlier in the stream, we had some benchmark results with no ray tracing enabled. So it's like Abdullah said, probably that's what he means with normal gaming, just rasterization, existing titles, none of the new fancy stuff. Yes, these cards will run it just fine and way faster than the 10 series to boot. So it's kind of comparable to 1070 Ti, 1080 levels of performance.
Yeah, so some people also asking about price. Like what we said before, first it's very difficult to comment on price because of each region worldwide has different VAT. I already see some people saying for the USA gaming Ventus is like $350. Not sure.
So that's kind of like dead on the MSRP then.
Yeah, so that check Newegg and then Gaming Z should be then close to 400.
Probably. Yeah, I would expect something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clock speeds. Edward, thank you. Already posting.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, it is a lot faster out of the box, and you've still got headroom to overclock, which I will show you later. So don't be afraid that when you're buying a Gaming Z, I'll get the fastest clock speeds out of the box, but then I won't be able to overclock myself. Yeah, not true.
Interesting question from, let me see his name, JBS4 League. Is DLSS limited to 4K only, or can it also perform in 1080p? This is a little bit tricky because...
we don't know the full details yet, let's start by saying that. And
yeah.
Secondly, from what we've seen, the biggest benefits are at higher resolution.
So 4K and 4040p at this moment?
Yes. So that's not to say that 1080p won't get any DLSS support and doesn't benefit from it. We don't know. But from what we've seen right now, it looks like high resolutions, 4K specifically, will benefit the most. So I guess it's kind of, you could say it kind of scales. So the higher the resolution, the more you will benefit from DLSS. It could be that they change this in the future. We have no idea what is possible with this technology. We just know it's really interesting, and we've seen some really impressive numbers already.
I always like the questions during VJ streams. So many questions. Anyway.
Yeah, I know. I believe we have a giveaway.
Yeah, giveaway for those people just joining.
Hey, some of you guys said I bought a 2080 or 2080 Ti and I didn't get a game code. This is your chance to get one.
Yeah, indeed. Go to msi.com/2/insider. I will post the link later. I will also post the direct link for this giveaway if the site doesn't work. So Nvidia has a game bundle. If you buy 2060 or 2070, you will
be able to choose Battlefield 5 or Anthem.
Yeah, and if you buy 2080 or 2080 Ti, you get them both games. So what we are doing, we are going to give away a few of these codes.
Yeah. Where you can choose which game you want.
Yeah, you can choose what game you want. So go to msi.com/2/insider.
Do you want to check if we already have...
oh yeah.
Maybe we can already draw a winner? Maybe?
That's a good idea.
Maybe we can make somebody really happy today.
Me.
No, I don't think you're allowed.
Yeah, we have some.
Dude, you're already happy. You're in a graphics card stream. You love this.
What is edit? Who made this? Who made this?
Who made this? Eric's looking into the back end.
Yeah, changing some things. Winners draw. Winners to draw one.
Here we go.
So
this is a script again, guys. We're not handpicking winners. We are letting a script do it for us.
Yeah. So.
Oh, that's a cool last name.
You can pronounce his
no,
name.
No.
Anyway, congratulations, Dominic. I think Dominic.
Yeah. We'll just say Dominic.
Dominic, anyway, you know what I'm talking about from Poland.
Probably, yeah.
So congratulations. We will probably tomorrow we will send you an email with the game code.
Yes.
And instructions how to redeem it.
Yeah.
So if you want to join, I will post a link in the chat again. So please
make sure you subscribe and don't miss out on a free game code. I mean, come on.
So maybe we can do some benchmarking and some live demo.
Yeah. Well, first I want to look a little bit closer at this card as well. So if you would like to man the close-up cam.
Yeah. Done.
No, man it. I mean, like.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
This should
Get
be
up
okay, right?
nice and close and personal. So, guys, just a few of the key points of the RTX 2060 Gaming Z. Of course, you know it's the Twin Frozr 7. So as you can see on the side as well, Twin Frozr 7. There you go. It has, of course, the Torx 3.0 fans, which are recognizable by the trims on the normal fan blade. So these are not the ones with the dip. Those are the ones without the trims. So these are the Torx 3.0 fans. As you can also see on the inside, basically in between the fan blades here, it has the wave curved pattern on the fins, basically to break the air so that it makes less noise as it travels through the heatsink. On the back here, you can also see that the airflow, as it's being pushed down, these things stick out, as you can see a little bit. Maybe I don't know if it's clear. Here you go. So these things are basically sticking out. So basically, as the air is being pushed from the top side down, it's being also dispersed directly and being steered onto the heat pipes that come out. So that's basically what these things do here, and these run all the way through the heatsink. As you can also see, by the way, it has a nice backplate, brushed finish. Not the same as on the 2070. It is the same, but it doesn't have a dual brushed finish. So this one has just a singular direction brushed finish. Still really nice though, the gunmetal gray. But as you can also see, the heatsink sticks out a bit behind the PCB and the backplate. So the heatsink is actually a bit bigger than the PCB itself. It has a single 8-pin power connector on the backside. It also has a nice, well, I don't want to call it anti-bending, but you know, it does provide a lot of strength. This black piece of metal here, it's quite thick. And it attaches to the I/O panel with some screws. So this provides some extra strength to the card, and it runs all the way, because this is the same plate. And here it continues basically. So it pretty much runs all the length of the card, and it covers a lot of the components as well. So the air actually hits this plate as well. It's like a cold plate type of thing to help with a little bit more dispersion. It also has, of course, the Mystic light, which I don't know. I don't think we'll be able to show it in the build. Maybe we can actually. Anyway, it's pretty much the same as the 2070. So basically, the light runs all the way across or around the fans here, and on this side as well, around this fan, and on the top as well, of course. So this part will light up. Let's see, what else can we show you guys? Yeah, so like I said, the display output is not like the NVIDIA reference version, so we don't have the Type-C connector. Of course, because we don't expect people with a 2060 to be using many Type-C monitors yet. So, yeah.
So people are asking, does it have direct contact heat pipes?
No, actually, the gaming series always use a base plate, so a copper base plate.
Yeah.
and all the heat pipes connect to that. But the base plate itself, so it's like a thick copper slab, that one actually goes directly onto the GPU. And that one catches the heat, and then it basically transfers it to all the heat pipes. Why we do this is because that enables you to put more heat pipes into contact with the copper plate. So you can actually get more surface area to disperse the heat. So better heat dispersion, lower temperatures. Sounds simple, all very scientific. We've got like really smart people with glasses figuring this out.
What are the average temperatures under full load?
Ooh, you're gonna see it. I already tested it a little bit. I think it was like 65, 66
Should be okay, yeah.
Celsius. So that's, you know, Zero Frozzer I think starts spinning at like 60 degrees. So you're like barely tickling the fan.
Zero Frozzer technology, you know, below a certain temperature, the fans will stop.
Yes. So
and
before that,
if it heats up,
actually they're spinning this way.
Yeah. And if it heats up, gets a certain threshold, then the fans start spinning.
Yes, exactly.
So actually,
most of the time
in Windows or light gaming, I would say.
Yeah, your fans will probably be like this, stationary.
Yeah. So it's like
and you won't have any noise, you know. Also has a bit of an added benefit that because the fans aren't spinning always, the bearings will last longer, but you know, that's not really a concern with these cards.
Somebody's saying only one HDMI port.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, so 3 display ports, 1 HDMI. That's because we didn't want to go 2 on 2, so 2 HDMI, 2 display port, because if you want to do a 3 monitor setup, you want to have the same connector.
Yeah, most people go for the same type of monitor, and then you know they use the same connector. And nowadays, DisplayPort is.
DisplayPort is like the most common and most, I'd say most used anyway. Best specs at the moment as well. So, yeah, I think most people will be using DisplayPort.
And worst case, you can always use a converter, right?
Yes. Yeah.
DVI removed? Well, yeah, I would say DVI is phasing out. It's less and less monitors new monitors will have DVI. And worst case, again, you can use a converter.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's just a digital signal.
Yeah, because you can always have like a a converter basically that you stick into. I believe it's always from. Is it always from DisplayPort? I believe so, right?
No, you also HDMI.
Anyway, so you have converters. So if you do want to use DVI, you can always get a converter. It shouldn't be too expensive, you know. And then
a few dollars, I would say.
Exactly, and then you can still use it.
Yeah. So, question from Riley: is there any specific cooling for the VRM? Yes.
Actually, there is. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can really.
Well, let me show you this. I think here you can clearly see it, right?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, okay. So you've got a couple of layers, and the.
Can you maybe your mouse can you show it?
I don't know if my mouse is actually.
Yeah, it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
There we go. All right, so.
But probably the mouse on the stream is very small.
Exactly, and I'm doing this with a touchpad, guys, so bear with me. Anyway, so here's the PCB, of course, and the layer in front of that.
Maybe the black PCB, you know, with all the components on it.
Yeah. So this is the PCB here, and then this thing I just showed you is kind of attached to the I/O panel as well. So this is the bracket that supports and provides a lot of strength. But as you can see, here is basically where it touches the memory modules. So it also covers that. And remember that the air is being blown through the heatsink like that. So it also hits this part. And so this will also help to cool. And this part actually is kind of covering at least some part of the VRM. The rest is sticking through this gap here. And that is actually connected directly onto the heat sink itself. So for the most direct cooling, basically, so the higher capacitors here, these square ones and then these round ones here, that's basically some of the heat comes off there. The other these are the MOSFETs, the little square chips on the right side of the bigger capacitors. Those also get hot, and those are covered by this part here, this black plate. So that's kind of like the dedicated cooling that those components receive. But again, you know, this card actually doesn't get that hot because it's only, especially for the gaming Z, it's only 190 watt TDP. So compared to 2080 Ti, which is up to around 300, something like that. So you know, it's a big difference. And as you will be able to see later on, we'll show you the temps in real time as well. It's not the VRM temps, it's the GPU temps, but still the temperatures are, you know, like 65, 66 degrees usually. So that's really barely anything to call hot.
So I again have a question from somebody asking for the price. Well, we're very sorry. Because it's very difficult to tell you pricing because VAT differs per country. We already heard some $350 in the USA, and I think that's without VAT.
Yeah, that's MSRP price.
Yeah, that's MSRP price for the Ventus 2060 Ventus.
Yeah.
And then we guess this one will be close around $400.
Something like that.
Yeah. So that will be Gaming Z, Abdullah.
Yeah, yeah. And again, you know, also it's not just VAT. I mean, shops can also decide to, you know, if there's not many people selling them yet, they can decide to put a higher price. You know, that's all down to them. They're free to do that. So
yeah. So a question from SoulClick: any vibration isolation for the coal wine? Well, you know, coal wine is a very, very difficult problem because it's not only for the VGA cards. You know, it depends on a lot of
power supply as well.
A lot of components in the
combination of your whole system that can.
And most time, you know, of course, we use special chokes. You know, we try to avoid that, but you can never
completely
100%
eliminate it.
Yeah, eliminate it. So if we have somebody who is complaining about coal wine, we always ask them, hey, can you check maybe a different power supply? And most times it solves the issue. Not always. So yeah, it's and this is, you know, it's a technical problem. So it's not like. Everybody can rule it out 100%.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not like something like, oh yeah, just put a anti-vibration pad here and solved, and you know, it's not that simple.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wish it was, because you know, but to be honest, coil wine has been less and less prevalent. You know.
Yes.
I've been hearing less and less of it, literally.
Yeah, 2 generations ago, like 3 years.
900 series. Those ones had some
big
coil
issues,
wine.
yeah.
We already solved, or let's say lessened, the chance of coil wine back then by expanding the PCB. We made the PCB bigger, put the components a little bit further apart.
Yes.
That actually helped as well. So we were already doing that. That's also partly why on the 10 series our PCBs were also quite big. You know, then you have more space. This generation also our PCBs aren't small by any measure. 2060 is a little bit smaller by comparison, but I still think we've put safe margins, and I've not heard any
Can you maybe go one slide back, the overview of SKUs?
Yes.
So this is a question in the chat as well. How many versions will there be available for 2060? We have at this moment 3 versions, and I say at this moment.
Yeah.
So it's the gaming, it's Ventus, and it's our mini ITX Aero card.
Yeah.
And there will be different SKUs of these. So there will be a Gaming Z, maybe a Gaming X, and this all depends on the clock speeds.
And usually for Aero ITX and Ventus, for example, you will have an OC and a non-OC version.
Yeah.
To be clear, OC means it's factory overclocked. It doesn't mean if you get a non-OC version that you cannot overclock with it, that is locked. Not the case. You can always overclock.
Yeah, but the limit, I would say, the factory OCs can also most times go higher.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
No guarantee.
No.
So that answers your question. When does the giveaway end? Well, maybe...
Does it ever end?
Yeah, shall we do another one?
At the end of the stream, guys. But anyway, so indeed, so during the stream we will make...
You need the detail cam?
We'll draw a few winners. No, not really.
Okay. Maybe then you need to start putting it in the...
Oh, like that.
Together.
Yeah. So next step, guys, I'm gonna install it into a system that's already pre-assembled here, and after that we're gonna run a few benchmarks for you guys. What are you doing?
Maybe you mix up VGA cards.
Yeah. You wish.
Can we not do Lightning?
No. Are you not gonna stop asking me?
Can we do Lightning next week?
Yeah, probably. Maybe. Again, like I said, if you behave. Oh, by the way, before we do that, I have one more thing I want to show you guys. This is the RTX 2070.
Oh yeah.
I also wanted to show you guys the comparison between those two. And
it's like
2060.
This one is actually already quite small, and then
well, it depends what you're. If you're coming from a 2080 Ti,
yes.
Yeah. We you know, when we saw the 2070 the first time, we thought, oh, that's cute. You know, that's.
Do we have Trio here?
No, we don't have it here. No, but I mean, you have the Lightning. So,
yeah.
Anyway, but so this is basically the 2070. So as you can see, a bit bigger. Also, the fans are a bit bigger. I believe this is 10 centimeters, and these are 9 centimeters. But as you can see, it's like a mini me. It's like, you know, you have to water this guy, and then eventually it'll grow to be like this.
No, I don't think so.
It doesn't work that way, honestly.
Maybe show them here in the.
Yeah, in the detailed.
Yeah, and also from this side.
Yeah. So as you can see, the 2070 does have this side the Type C connector.
Yeah.
2060 does not. From the side, indeed. Let's see. Here we go. So it is very, very similar. Uses a lot of the same proven technologies.
Yeah.
Heat sinks. And of course, yeah, I mean, maybe you can show the back plate as well. You have to kind of hold it upside down for the logo to be upright. You need to flip it. No.
What?
Don't touch the camera.
Oh, I thought you said flip it.
Yeah. But as you can see, so it is a very similar backplate, but as you can see, this one has a very, very nice dual brushed finish, whereas this one is just single.
That's now.
Yeah.
That's a webcam.
Thanks to our beautiful webcam there.
Yeah.
Anyway. Okay, so now I'm going to build this into a PC for you guys, so we can start doing some gaming tests for you guys live, and also some overclocking.
Uh-oh. This is where
Damn right, uh-oh.
Yeah. This is where we normally have problems. Well, actually, we already prepared this, and so last night, quite funny.
You're gonna say there's nothing that could go wrong?
Yeah. So yesterday, Peter was already installing this PC, and of course, we installed the PC with 2070.
Yeah, was still in there.
And then we installed Battlefield. We wanted to play Battlefield with ray tracing, but ray tracing didn't work. So we were like, why is this? We just had a Battlefield update.
The NVIDIA drivers update. You know,
yeah,
everything was updated.
Just released a new driver, so it was yesterday afternoon, like 24 hours ago. And Battlefield didn't have the option ray tracing, so we were really like puzzled, like
what's going on here?
Yeah, did they remove it, or is this a bug? Searching on the internet, couldn't find anything, and then we asked our technical guys. They said, "Did you install the new Windows update?" Oh yeah, the September update.
And we said, "Wait a minute, doesn't Microsoft enforce this thing? So do we even have a choice?"
Yeah.
But apparently we didn't have the October update, which includes DXR, which you need for ray tracing.
Yeah, so...
so yeah, we kind of had to install that still.
Yeah.
But, you know, it happens.
Yeah. And then this morning we changed the 2070 for the 2060.
Yeah.
And then Battlefield stopped working.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you know.
The backplate for 2060, it's metal.
Yes.
So I have here the 2070, because 2060, but it's the same one.
Yeah. This is like aluminum.
No, that sounds plastic because of my cover.
But yes, it is indeed metal, guys.
Yeah, so maybe
it's aluminum.
Close up detailed. No.
It's aluminum. Alright.
Yeah.
I think we're good to go. Although, so basically, yeah, maybe I can it's actually not very visible.
Just put it on here.
This is gonna take so much space, dude.
No, I mean later we put it down, but with the detailed cam we can watch inside.
Let me just stick in a power connector and then.
Are you guys using superposition? I don't know what it is, Joe.
I know what it is. It's a benchmark.
Oh, are we?
No.
No. Sorry.
We're using. Well, we can use.
Why don't I know what it is?
Time.
Why I don't know what it is?
I have no idea why you don't know about it. It's a Unigen superposition.
That's why.
Yes. But we do have 3D Mark installed. The new one, so the ray tracing benchmark, which is called Port Royal. So if we have time, we probably will run that for you guys. So as you can see, try and show it to you guys. So as you can see, this card also has the nice Mystic light there, and on the side there's also something experimental going on down here. So it actually, this one isn't really connected to the
No,
card.
we just put it in.
Just
maybe,
for show at the moment.
In a few weeks' time, this is our new case.
Yeah.
This is our Gunneer case.
Yes.
So in, I think, 2 weeks' time, we
Something like this.
we will
Do
talk
a full
about
build.
a full build gaming PC, and then we will talk about that.
Yeah.
The power, yes, only single 8-pin.
So right now, what I'll do is I will. You want to keep it here, or shall I?
No, best to put it on the,
Alright.
on the.
Let me block the camera with my humongous ass.
Yeah, they're already chatting about it, making screenshots.
Nice.
Maybe I will do the giveaway meanwhile. So guys, I think it blocks your head.
Good
so
timing.
Good timing. A little bit too late.
Yeah, well,
The memes are already floating on the internet.
Better late than never.
Yeah, indeed. Anyway, yeah, you know the deal. Nvidia has a bundle with this. If you buy 2050 or 2060, you get either one of the games, Battlefield.
You said a non-existing model. 2060 or 2070.
What did I say?
2050.
Not 2050. Okay, anyway. 2060 or 2070.
Yes.
Yes. Then you get either one of the games you can choose. And if you purchase 2080 or 2080 Ti, you get both games. But we have a giveaway. So I will post the link in the chat. Go to msi.com/2/insider. And over there you can participate and we will give away some codes. Are you done?
Almost.
Okay, so I removed the banner.
I need to, plug in all these devices.
Yeah, this is Peter's head.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
All right, so let me quickly get rid of this laptop.
Hey,
as well.
Savage. Good to see you.
Don't need it now.
When is 2050? We don't know.
Well, Eric
Yeah.
just misspoke, so we don't know if there will be one. To be honest, to be really honest with you guys, we have no idea. Okay, I don't know. Let's see.
I notice I get more and more questions about our lightning.
Well, why do you think that is?
I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
I show it too many times.
Yeah. What kind of questions are you getting? Maybe we can spoil something.
Nah.
What do you mean, nah?
I think we can do a full stream about lightning.
Why?
So
Let me quickly just restart the PC again. I just started it up, guys. But usually, if you replace a GPU, usually you have to remove the drivers using, for example, DDU driver and installer. We already kind of pre-installed it, so but just to be sure, I want to reboot it, just to prevent any kind of problems.
Hey, somebody is awake. Where is the link? Sorry. Sorry. So it's msi.com/2/insider. I'll also post a direct link in case it doesn't work.
So I wasn't paying attention. Do we already have a second winner?
No.
What?
So draw a winner.
Make somebody happy, Eric. Come on, let's do it.
I'm going to do it. Oh, 12. Draw one. So
Our second winner of today
is Wong Chong Yun from Malaysia.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, indeed.
So we'll send you the code tomorrow, and
Should be
yeah.
somewhere tomorrow.
Yeah.
I go here?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
All right. So as you can see, this is the beautiful background we have here, and can't change it at the moment. because we keep switching hardware so much that we can't activate Windows, and when you don't activate
It looks
it,
activated. It's not complaining.
I know, but when you
I know why.
yeah, but when you try to personalize and change it, then it says, "Wait, you need to activate it." And,
we change each week. We change some hardware, so
because we're testing,
and we don't want to call Microsoft each week.
Yeah, the phone bill.
We change hardware again.
Yeah.
No.
Microphone kind of blacklisted the number, but no,
Yeah.
just kidding. Anyway, yeah. So let's fire up Afterburner, of course. Here you can see latest version of Afterburner, by the way. You always want that. Whoa, something's already popping up here. We'll get back to that later. I don't know why it was popping up. Maybe it was detecting something.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Afterburner, latest version of Afterburner is a beta version. It has the OC scanner, so as you can see at the top here, OC with a little search glass. Or looking glass, and that's where the OC scanner can be found now. It's still a beta version, so there should be a new version coming out at some point in the future. So there could be some issues here and there. Anyway, let's start up some Battlefield.
So Riley is asking, will the lighting, not lightning, be active without any additional software? So yes, it starts out of the box, it's active, but you can disable it with the software, right?
You can disable it or customize it indeed with using Mystic Light software for this one. In the future, actually, we're moving to Dragon Center. It's called. So because we know that we've had a lot of different software suites for all kinds of features. There was a different software package. And so in the end, now we're moving more and more towards, okay, let's just build one suite where you can kind of do everything. So you don't need to install 20 different applications. It's just one platform, and that's where you can find everything. It takes some time, obviously, because it's very complicated to do that.
West Warlord wants Lightning to run his indie games at 1000 FPS.
Why?
True.
There are no monitors that will do 1000 hertz.
Yeah. Ah, got you.
Well, I mean, just for the lols, you can do it, but... Alright, so Battlefield. Let's see if we can actually start running today. Woo! It's working.
Yeah, looking good.
Okay. So, before we get going, of course, we're gonna look at the graphics options. So that's also where you'll find the ray tracing stuff. The basic things, of course, we're running at 1080p because that's the capture limit basically for our capture card at 144 Hertz. I believe you guys will be watching it at 60 FPS max if you're lucky enough to watch on Twitch or YouTube. Let's see the rest of the options.
Or mixer.
Yeah, maybe that one as well. Yeah. So I've turned a lot of things off. Some of these things are still on. Usually I'm not really bothered with it. But the advanced options is where it's all about. Because, of course, to run DXR you need DirectX 12 enabled. DXR, which is the DirectX ray tracing package. And, I mean, HDR, it's down to if your monitor actually supports it, yes or no. We'll just leave it on auto. I mean, most of the settings I really didn't touch that much. Frame rate limiter 200. Well, with ray tracing on, I don't really think we're going to hit that, but let's see. Everything is on ultra, because of course we want this to look really nice. And then the ray tracing is actually at the bottom. So here you've got the settings where you can cycle through. Oh, there's actually a low setting as well. So ray tracing low, medium, high, or ultra. So we'll start with ultra, of course. Really nice in the game as well. It gives you a description of what you're changing. Alright, so let's go back to the main menu. So what we'll do is I'll go into a... I don't want to just, walk around and be useless in a multiplayer game and also get shot all the time. So let's just go for a war story. Let's try this one first. I mean... I believe this one's driving around in a Tiger tank in Germany.
Why am I not playing?
That's a good question, actually. I kind of was hoping you didn't notice. Because you're the Battlefield guy, That's your thing.
Yeah.
But, Anyway, so we've put some on-screen OSD, on-screen metrics for you guys. So that's Afterburner running in the background and showing you the system statistics basically live. Maybe you can show the rest of the specs of the system as well, Eric?
Yeah, sure.
We've prepared something for that. So just so you guys know, so the case is an MSI Gungnir. It's running on an Intel Core i5 8600K. I don't believe it's overclocked, so it's running stock speeds.
Why is the mainboard not mentioned?
That's a good question, actually. I don't know.
You know what's inside?
No, I'll have to give it a look. I think it's
Ace?
It's Ace.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's Ace.
Yeah, so Z390.
Z390 Ace.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was in the list, I believe. Anyway, of course, the GeForce RTX 2060 Gaming Z. 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM.
Maybe you play. I already saw some ray tracing effects.
Yeah, of course you. Because here's the thing. Just watch also the top of the turret, basically. As you can see, you know, there are some flashing effects already going on there. I believe I'm gonna have to kill some stuff. But you can, you know, everywhere it's wet, basically. I'm just gonna drive around. Probably I'll get killed, guys. So don't.
Yeah. They know.
It's single player, you know, this is hard. So we're just gonna mow down some people.
We're doing this to show you off the ray tracing.
Yeah.
So sometimes you see explosions like now, and you see the reflections on the top of the tank, on the turret.
Yeah, where it's wet, or on the side. Some nice swearing in text.
We're not sure how audio is. We didn't test this.
I think it might be off.
Somebody is asking full screen, please. Difficult.
Yeah, we set it so that we're still in the picture, guys. Sorry about that.
Yeah, this is a Core i5 indeed.
Oh, there was a tank there. That's...
So you can maybe, let me see, I switch back to the main. So now you see Afterburner as well. You cannot, you already have problems? You want me to drive tank?
No, it's alright. I don't know if I can, if I zoom in, like, if it's better, that you can better see the ray tracing.
Maybe you shoot at some water.
Well, I need to kill this thing anyway. And this guy. But as you can see the guy, and that's actually...
I think somebody's putting C4 on you.
Probably. In the tank, I think it's rendering a little bit low. So if I'm running around on foot, I think it's a higher quality. I've seen the reflections, but it's you can see the basic reflections happening in real time. Yeah, reflecting what's going on the on the other side.
Can you not exit your tank?
Not in this, because this is a single player. Maybe I can try the a different level or a different single player mission in a minute. First I have to kill this Sherman tank though. There we go. Let me repair in peace. I'm just trying to see if I can find some
Maybe
effects.
go to Rotterdam map, there you see a lot of ray tracing.
Yeah, but that's on multiplayer. So
we don't have any in-game sound. So
no, yeah,
I
so
think that doesn't matter. I mean, we just
it's
show
not
you
about
this.
the sound, guys. The sound is not ray traced.
Yeah, not yet.
Nope. Okay, so let's see if we can find a different mission. Maybe we can do a Rotterdam map. Let's see. I just hate to do that because we're not actually actively playing. So I always hate it when I'm in a multiplayer game and there's somebody just staring at walls and stuff.
Normally it's
being useless.
Normally it's my squad.
You know. But let's see. Right, multiplayer then. Let's see if we can even find. I think Narvik also has it, but let's go for Rotterdam first.
Yeah, Rotterdam, much better option. The bottom one.
Ping, this one. No, because you want acceptable ping, right?
That is breakthrough.
So what? It's not about the game mode. What do you care?
You probably don't end up in Rotterdam.
Really? It is Rotterdam map at the moment.
At the moment.
Because I selected that.
At the moment.
Yeah. Why? Okay, so it was taking a while to join. Maybe the map already changed.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
That's when people are joining. No, it's Rotterdam. Okay, cool.
Hey, alright.
So now the difficulty is because like a few months ago we also did a live stream with ray tracing and walking around in a full server, a lot of people shooting at you. It's very difficult to enjoy the ray tracing. But we know where to look, so
Come on. Give me them rays.
Yeah, this is a 2060 Gaming Z.
Yes.
So here you have the specs.
On the screen, yeah. And as you can see, I mean, yes, the game is loading right now. Everything is put on ultra, as I showed you before. Even ray tracing is on ultra levels. So when you're looking at the frame rate, this is 1080p, everything on ultra.
With ray tracing.
With ray tracing enabled, also on the highest possible level. So.
Day 2.
Wow.
Oh, it's rather than. Okay.
So we loaded through the first day. No bonus. Let's skip this and let's go right into the game. Okay, so let's see. Where's the? We need some tram cars like here. So as you can see here, you already see. Yeah, well, I'm checking to see if there is actually some where you can actually see like buildings or something reflected.
Then you will get a headshot.
Well, as you can see here.
Yeah,
you
the
see
trees.
the trees basically.
The clouds.
Here, the buildings.
Yeah, maybe don't move that much.
So as you can see here, the
headshot.
building. Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to actually keep moving, both so you can see that it's being rendered in real time. Okay, nice.
Try to go into that building. There you really see a lot of ray tracing. The ballroom.
Wait a minute, I'm being revived. Alright, so...
Yeah, this is 1080p. And GTX 1050 Ti can play this game. Yes, for sure it can play this game.
I'm actually not able to go there. Because it's like outside of the
mission area. Maybe go to the left.
Well, the water is...
Don't do it here.
Whoa.
That's what I mean.
Okay, well.
Yeah, this looks really good.
But so, this is everything on ultra, guys. So
so this is this is played on 1080p with a GTX 2060 Gaming Z. The settings are ultra, but also the ray tracing settings are put in ultra.
Yeah.
This is now doing like if you what is the FPS? Go to left, Peter.
Basically 55
here. 55.
60, 72.
Peter, go to the left, to the back side. Left. Yeah, over there. Then you can go to the water and...
Here you can also see. And also the reflection actually fades.
Maybe throw a grenade or shoot something.
I don't really know if that does much. I mean, you can break the windows, obviously, but...
No, then you don't see ray tracing
exactly,
anymore.
that like this, that cancels the ray tracing
go to the end of... go to the bridge. Yeah, those cars.
This is a restricted area, I believe. No. Somewhere here-ish.
No.
But I mean, there's so much being ray traced. Also, that it's being deformed because of the curvature of the materials. Everything's being taken into account. So you see the buildings. Even the normal visual distortion you would see on a car because the bonnet is curved. So you also see that the building there is a bit flat and But it's this kind of detail, this level of detail you don't see in other games either. And again, you can see in the top right corner basically we're still above a 60 FPS at the moment, with full ray tracing enabled. Here you can see that.
So some people are asking what the buzzing sound is. We don't know. Can be the fans of the water cooling. Can be maybe. The capture of live stream.
Yeah.
We didn't test the audio, so.
Yeah, we just disabled it for the game at least.
Yeah.
But it could be that something
are the fans spinning?
Probably not. I don't hear them.
I cannot see it.
But what we can do here maybe is show you guys the difference. So we're standing here, and now I'll switch to a different detail level of ray tracing. So let's go to high. Let's see if you guys spot the difference.
Nah, you cannot see that.
Probably not.
No. Is that?
See, you still see all the details there. It might be a little less sharp.
Difference between these two modes you almost cannot see.
Yeah.
You need to take
even
a screenshot.
These silver parts, guys. Even these silver parts and the rims here, those also are ray traced, as you can see. It changes depending on my perspective. So it's like the tiniest details are also done. Like what you see here basically are those buildings being.
Well, maybe destroy the buildings.
yeah, let's shoot them and yeah, that'll. You can even see me.
Yeah, so this I think is really something what ray tracing can do. It can show you reflection, and normally this is impossible to render something what is outside the scene. So this is not in the image; it's outside the scene.
Yeah.
And with ray tracing, well, I think this is a really.
Let's see if we can get when we can actually spot a difference. So let's go to medium.
Yeah. So medium is the lowest setting.
No. Actually, there is low. I mean, so I think that the detail of the reflection is a little bit less now. It's like a little bit more pixely or a little less detailed. Still, there's a lot of, you can still quite clearly see, the bridge in the background, me here, and the tram. So, and this is on medium, guys. But as you can see, my FPS is now already up to like 80. 75, 76, 80. So, it does make quite a difference. So now let's go to low. Let's see what happens then. You can see. So it's basically I kind of have the feeling that I can see some pixels here now. As in, in the reflection, it's kind of maybe pixelated. I'm not sure. Maybe a little bit of noise here, but I mean, this is the lowest setting, guys. The lowest ray tracing setting, and I'm well into the 80 FPS. But the stuff is still being ray traced and reflected in real time, as you can see by my character dancing around here in front of this car. So, yeah, I mean, this is really impressive stuff.
So we're going to try to fix the sound.
I don't know.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, you are?
No, Michiel remotely.
Okay, there we go. So as you can see, it's quite funny because it looks like the bridge is like being, it's visible through the glass, but this is actually that part of the bridge probably. So that's a nice visual thing there. I do think, I'm not sure if the destruction of the buildings is correctly done. It should be actually. Yeah, it is. Look at that. So you can see there's part of this building is destroyed, and that's basically
it's just
as well.
Yeah, it's 100% identical. So it's not it's ray traced.
Yeah. Well, that's
and
why I said
can you switch off ray tracing?
Let me see. Maybe I can. Yeah.
Because then you should be able to see the real difference on top.
So here I can only do this,
Yeah,
but at the top I can probably say DXR enabled off. Oh, I need to restart.
Okay, then don't.
Well.
Yeah, then switch it on again.
Actually, I think it still is on.
Yeah, it is on. Yeah.
And actually, I think I switched
so
it back to
some
Ultra.
people are complaining, will this give competitive player an edge in the game? Because basically you can see what happens behind you.
It can do in some cases. I'm just trying to see if I can get an example, because I saw something like if there's a painting on a wall that can reflect.
I don't believe it's here.
Probably not. But anyway, so this is something that they're gonna have to figure out. I mean, potentially, because they haven't really looked at the detailed effects yet. But if there's like something on the wall that reflects, and a player without ray tracing won't see any reflection, or they will see a reflection, but not if like an enemy player is running by, it won't show. But if you're running ray tracing, then it'll show. So these are very specific situations that maybe...
we have sound now.
Hey, there we go.
Not too loud.
I hope not. Oh, I think we're about to die again.
So they will hear you dying.
Woo. Oh, there's a tank there.
Yeah, so some people are asking, can you maybe go to the water? So I see also several people saying, the performance impact is too big, and you get like 40 to 50 FPS is cancer. Well, don't say that word. Anyway, this is still, ray tracing is still a new technology, and you saw NVIDIA already improved the performance a lot. And we're now running at ultra. Well, maybe not now, but
yeah, this is ultra actually.
So we're running at ultra settings, so you get about 55 frames per second, 50 to 55 frames per second on the 2060, which is currently the cheapest ray tracing GPU available. Not sure if there will be anything else cheaper than that. But what NVIDIA promised during the launch, they already teased us with 4040p ray tracing, let's say at the same FPS.
Yeah.
So basically that means if you go 1080p, you should have 90 FPS. I would say, yeah, 90 FPS, maybe 70.
Something like that, yeah.
70 to 90 depending on the settings. So 90 probably in the lowest settings and 70 in the highest settings. So you will have like a 15 extra FPS based on this. Yeah. And then it's smooth. So
yes, I mean, but all the beginnings. Let's not forget this is the first game that does it. So probably
yes,
there's
that's
a
another
lot
question answered. Thank you.
Yeah, there's
are there more games who support it? We fixed audio.
Okay, good.
So no, at this moment Battlefield, but there are a lot of other games with ray tracing in the pipeline.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you go to the NVIDIA YouTube channel, you see a lot of trailers for these kind of games, and they will be launched somewhere in 2019.
Yeah. Alright, so guys, so before we exit the game, I also want to point you to the temperature, so as you can see, and the clock speed. So as you can see, 1980 megahertz for the GPU at the top right. 99% usage, of course. Temperature is 64 degrees. Probably will go up to 65, 66. Not much more than that. I doubt it. So yeah, really, really impressive as well. Very good cooling.
So, you know what I did?
What did you do?
Oh, there you can, the flames in the water.
Yeah, as you can see, flames in the water.
Maybe blow up the guy. Anyway, next winner, I already did a lucky draw, is Jolanda van der Kolk. So congratulations. Tomorrow you will get the game code.
Here you can also see in the puddle down there, ray tracing.
That's indeed ray tracing.
I can't zoom in yet because the game hasn't started, so can't do anything yet.
I will show the specs of the system. Oh, yeah. Like that.
But yeah, I mean, even without ray tracing, probably this game looks already really, really good. The ray tracing just makes it look way, way better. So.
Can you tell us the fan speed percentage what is running this game?
Oof. I could. I'd have to switch out of the game though.
Alt up. Works sometimes.
Depends. Ooh, where's my mouse? Where's my mouse? There we go. So let's see. We can see here in Afterburner, or we should be able to see. Game's still running in the background, by the way. Let me see. Fan speed. Here it is, I believe. So fan speed is around 44%. And as you can see, it drops every time there's nothing. It just goes to 0, which is 0 frozer, which means the fans stop completely. Temperatures. Let me see. Temperature is the top one. So here you see 66, 65, 66, 60. Maybe it was briefly 67 somewhere. Yeah, but only very briefly. So the rest is only in the 60s, 65. So that's pretty much, that was during the whole session just now. So, you know, and GPU usage was like constantly 99%. Let's see, memory usage. So this card has 6 gig off the top of my head. And it's using like 5.5, so it's pretty nice. It's you know, using as much as it can safely. Clock speed, as you can see, very, very flat, this line, which means it's stable. So that means the clock speed has been at 1965 megahertz pretty much constantly. So it doesn't fluctuate, it stays stable. Memory clock also just stable, one flat line, which is what you want to, really what you want to see. So yeah, let's switch back into the game then. If I'm not kicked yet, that is.
Or killed.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, this just looks amazing. It's the next level of realism of what you want to see, and you know.
Yeah, so and during gameplay, to be honest, you don't notice a lot because you're busy with the enemies, but it's those small details,
It really
it helps.
depends on what you're doing and what kind of game you're playing. I mean, you'll see, especially in Battlefield, with people like ray tracing and features with the ray tracing, you'll see a lot of people just wandering around randomly, just looking at stuff. You know, because it's just completely new. It is really cool. Let's see if this
is a good question. Do you know if RTX, so ray tracing, has any effect of VRAM usage?
Well, VRAM is usually just used to load textures.
I think we had some benchmarks of that some streams ago, but I don't remember what it was.
I also don't remember correctly. I don't think it has a big impact. I don't believe so.
Campered.
I'm not very good. Well, I did hit him. He's not gonna come back anytime soon.
Of course not.
Anyway, but yeah, it's an amazing game, and this is the most entry level, as you know, to use the word a bit loosely, ray tracing card, and I mean, to be honest, it's quite playable.
Can I now play?
Not yet, no. But I mean, wouldn't you just love to play this with a 2080 Ti Lightning, for example? Are you shaking?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, this is just amazing. And I mean, this is 45 FPS, so this apparently, especially with the water, probably is a bit heavier in terms of ray tracing.
Question for you. Marek is asking, does the 2060 come with a graphic card holder like 2070?
That's a good question.
Indeed.
We
didn't see the retail packing yet.
No, we only got a sample, which is not a retail sample. Come on.
Headshot.
Yeah, he was pushing me.
So, sorry, cannot comment on that.
Guys.
I would say no.
Cool.
What do you think?
I don't think it needs it, so I don't think you should be worried about it. It's not quite as heavy, of course, because it's smaller, so it's not as heavy as a 2070 or 2080 or 2080 Ti. Nowhere near that heavy. I think, because I was just holding the 1060 as well in my hand, I think it's kind of comparable to that weight, so yeah, you don't really need a graphics card holder for this one. No. Really. Just make sure you tighten the screws to your case at the I/O panel, the I/O bracket.
Shall we switch?
Should be fine. No, because I'm actually going to go out of the game, because we've got some more stuff to show you guys.
Yeah, some people already know just during the stream. 3 streams later, Erik still doesn't get to play.
Sad face.
Tonight I will.
Exactly. You'll make up for it. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You just need to schedule a stream called Erik Gets His Battlefield On.
Yeah, why not?
Finally, it's like an addict getting his fixed. He needs his fix. Anyway, all right, Afterburner. So I wanted to show you guys a couple of things. One is OC scanner, because I've also got the 3D Mark installed with Port Royal, which is the ray tracing benchmark. I'll start that up quite quickly now. So at the moment, I'm running stock clocks. So stock clocks, that means for a Gaming Z, it's already factory overclocked, of course, but it's Gaming Z out of the box, basically, at the moment. So as you can see here, I haven't changed any values. Everything is set to out-of-the-box configuration. Fan speed is on automatic and everything like that. So let's quickly run a Port Royal test just to get a score. And then after that, I'm going to show you guys how to use the OC scanner tool, which basically just does the overclocking for you. Takes about 15 minutes, and then it'll find the best overclocking setting for your card. You only have to apply it. Memory you do have to, because it only does it for the GPU. Memory you do have to overclock yourself. I can give you a number you can put in, pretty safe probably. If not, the card will crash and it will recover, and you can just put in a lower number. It's fine.
So this Port Royal is the first ray tracing benchmark.
Yeah, it's the first ray tracing benchmark basically used by everybody now to do it. So Let's see if I can do. It's just a graphics test. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so I'm just gonna start it up now. Probably Afterburner is also gonna run in the background, so you'll be able to see GPU usage, temperatures, clock speeds, that kind of stuff.
Do we need to take notes?
No, we'll do that later. I have indeed a pen and a piece of paper here, so I'll write down what the score is going to be in the first run, in the first pass.
Mm-hmm. How many FPS is it now?
5.
It's loading.
Yes, it's the loading screen. So again, guys, this is a really new benchmark. So we don't have the superposition. That one also, I read about something that it also includes some ray tracing. I'm not sure if it's this kind of ray tracing though. So superposition is also a very interesting benchmark test. This one is very specifically designed to test DXR ray tracing. So that's what's happening now. So as you can see, it is a very, very heavy test.
So actually it's the purpose of not running smooth.
Yeah, yeah. This thing is just meant to, you know, tax your GPU to the max and see what comes out. So running at 38 FPS here now. Pretty smooth line. There's not too many fluctuations. Alright, so now it's down to 24.
And 99% load.
Yeah, always 99% load. So the GPU does, as you can see, now it's being taxed a bit more than in Battlefield. Because as you can see, the temperature is now also up to 70 degrees on auto fan speeds. Memory clock speed still 7001 megahertz.
This looks nice.
It does, yeah. But as you can see, like pretty much everything is reflecting and refracting, and you know all those things that Jensen was talking about, and it does just work here. I mean, it's not that high FPS, but this is meant to really put your graphics card to the test when it comes to ray tracing. So would also be interesting to see how much FPS you'll get on a 2080 Ti. Probably you'll get something like 40, 50-ish.
Mm-hmm.
You would expect. Maybe a bit higher if you overclock it. So yeah, this is quite interesting. After this, I think it's gonna be like, I think it runs it twice if I'm correct. Because after this, it's gonna have like a counter in the bottom as well. I'm really not sure why it runs it twice.
Some people are saying this is the demo, not the benchmark.
Yeah, that could be why then. Because I was looking through the settings, seeing if I could like only make it run the benchmark, but
so
maybe you can draw another winner in the meantime.
I already did.
You already did.
Yeah.
How many winners do you have now?
Enough.
I thought you already had Battlefield 5. I didn't think you needed another one.
So now it's running
Okay.
for the benchmark.
Yeah.
So same story?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, man, that was like 2 minutes of my life I want back.
So maybe we go to this one.
Yeah. Yeah, we can do another one. I mean, you can show them the benchmark as well, because you kind of want to keep an eye on the FPS.
Yeah,
and
otherwise
stuff
you're
like
cheating.
that. Yeah. And now actually GPU usage is 100%. And it's 15 FPS. 16, 17.
Before you hit start, there is a checkbox.
All right, I'll look out for that. Thanks for the tip. Because basically, we only want to run the benchmark, and then.
How do we enter the giveaway? Let me see. So I will type it.
Go to msi.com/2to/insider, and there is basically the landing page for our streams, for the MSI Insider streams, and there you'll see a button, probably somewhere like on my chest or something, because I'm on there as well.
I just post a link.
Or you can just click the link.
Yeah. 2 links. So that's where you can sign up.
Yeah. So as you can see here, everything is ray traced. That's all the reflections. It's just, this is crazy. We're hitting levels of realism here that shouldn't be possible.
Well, but this is how future game will look like. And I think it's important for games that they don't do it on purpose.
I always looked at benchmarks like that, like, oh, this is what a future game will look like. But to be honest, I mean, even in benchmarks, like the movements of characters and stuff. The games do it way better than this.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm talking about is ray tracing. So a lot of shiny objects, and it needs to fit in the game. Because yesterday we were playing the desert level in Battlefield.
Yeah. It was dusty.
I told you look for water in the desert. So
I'm not gonna spoil it for you guys, but basically I was walking around for 30 minutes until I told him I'm in the damn desert.
Score.
All right, guys, this is score. So as we can see, it's a valid score. That's always nice. As you can see, it's 3,784 points.
Yeah. Need to write down the FPS, or this is enough?
Probably that's we can do like the average FPS was 17.52.
Yeah.
FPS.
So at the bottom you can see it's 2060 with a Core i5 600K.
So that's also the...
and the CPU is default, right? Not overclocked.
Yeah, it's running on stock speeds, indeed. Yeah. So no funny business going on there. All right. So now, just want to see what you...
On the right side.
Where, on
the right side, top,
include demo. Oh, here we go. That's nice. Okay. So now, then, before we run it again, what I wanted to show you guys, and also just quit some stuff. Quit bringing this up. Wait your turn. So as you can see here, this is the Afterburner. We've got some streams and some videos up about this subject, how to overclock. So if you want to do overclocking and you don't know how to do it, just Google MSI Afterburner, how to overclock, something like that. We've got a whole blog article that describes step by step how to do it. However, today we're going to focus on OC scanner. So this is the button for it. This button was always here, but it used to be empty. Now it actually has a purpose. Nice. But before you do that, you want to go into settings. You want to enable, these are not, when you first install Afterburner, these are not checked. So these are not unlocked. So you want to unlock voltage control and voltage monitoring. Probably it will tell you, oh, but then we have to restart Afterburner. Just do it, that's fine. Let it restart Afterburner, and then you'll be able to change these sliders. So basically, in the old days, you had to be careful about, changing voltages and stuff like that. Now, basically, what you have to do is just drag it all the way to 100 to the right. Power limit and temperature limit as well. Just drag it all the way to the right. These are linked, by the way. You can delink them like this, so you can do it separately, but stock, they are linked together. So basically, just drag one all the way to the right, and you're fine. Fan speed you can leave on auto. You can put it in a different speed if you want. I'll just leave it on auto. These you can leave alone for now. The core clock, it'll start testing by itself.
Yeah.
The memory clock you'll have to do later on by yourself. So after you change these values, always click apply, which is the check mark here. That's all you need to do. Then go to OC button. It will bring up this interface, and it will say, hey, I'm connected to the interface. There you have two options. One is scan, one is test. Basically, what you need to do is scan, because the scanning option, I'll just start it right here. It will take a few minutes. It will start looking at the voltage, what is it, the voltage and power curve, something like this, or voltage frequency curve, that's it. And it will just start testing and seeing, okay, so how high can I go without losing stability?
This will not void any warranty.
No, yeah, it's completely safe.
Yeah.
It's covered by warranty. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, it's covered by warranty because nothing can go wrong.
Yes. I mean, the worst thing that will happen is maybe your graphics card can crash, which means basically your screen will just go black.
Yeah.
And then it'll flicker a few times, and then it'll restore and say, oops, something happened, something went wrong.
You even don't have to restart because the NVIDIA driver has to restart.
Well, to be honest, I've heard that because it's a beta version of the OC scanner, sometimes I've heard some people, even their PC just crashed. Doesn't matter, you don't break, exactly. Just reboot it, and it'll be back to default settings.
But in case you see fire, make sure
smoke,
make sure to run.
Yeah.
And that's not covered by warranty.
No. No, but I mean, and so this will go on for about 15, maybe 18 minutes, something like this. So once it's done, it'll tell you, okay, so we found an overclock, and this is we've exported the curve to Afterburner. So here it will say, sorry, but instead of clock speed, it will say curve. You need to click apply to actually apply the new overclock setting. If you want, you can also, before you do that, you can click on test, which means it will then revalidate, so it will retest the values of the OC scanner overclock settings just to make sure it's stable. In my experience, it's not necessary. So here you go, you can already see curve. There you go. Anyway, I'm gonna stop it because it's gonna take a while.
So this now not only works for the new NVIDIA GPUs, which are based
so
on...
the 20 series, it used to be that the 20 series, but with the new beta version, the GTX 10 series are also supported, guys. So if you have a GTX 10 series card and you want that automatic overclocking feature, the OC scanner, you can now use it. Just make sure you have the latest version. It is still a beta, so it could be that there are some
like smoke,
stability issues or smoke indeed, but
don't worry about it.
You know, the next version should be officially supporting it.
Yeah.
Anyway, as you can see, scan cancelled. That's fine. I already did it for you guys. What it came up with is I saved as a profile, so I'm going to apply that. As you can see,
so maybe a good question, how can you save as profile?
You can save it as a profile. What I'll do, I'll revert back. You can always go back to default settings, by the way, guys. Just click on this, and as you can see, everything is back to default. That's it. If you change something like this, you put clock speed up, whatever, like this, and you want to save it, just click on this little disk icon. I don't know how many.
That's kind of strange, yes.
Yeah, how many of you guys still know what this is? You know, but anyway, the save icon, and then as you see, it'll flash up like, okay, so which number, which profile?
Click 1.
You can click 2.
Yeah.
And then it's saved now as profile 2. There you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna go to profile 1. As you can see, it says curve here. That's because this the value has been determined by the OC scanner. Memory clock, I'm gonna manually put in like 950 extra. That's fine. That should be fine. And I'll click apply. That's it. Now that we've put in, so basically that's it. Now it's overclocked. It's not doing anything yet because it's not loaded up. No smoke. No, because as you can see here, the voltage monitoring as well. It's not being loaded. It's not doing anything at the moment because we've not got anything loaded up. So now what we'll do is we'll rerun 3D Mark. So now we don't include the demo. Remember, guys, the last score. I don't know. Can we still see it? Results. Yeah, here we go. So 3,784 was our score with an average of 17.52 FPS. So this was just a quick and dirty overclock. Let's see the result for that, and let's make sure that demo is off. So let's see how we do now. Also, then while we run it, keep an eye on the temperature, for example, because we did overclock it, which means that could be that card gets a little bit hotter. Could be. Yeah. Doesn't have to be. Again, pretty much for a graphics card, anything up to like 80 degrees
should be fine.
Is fine. It's nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
And last thing we saw in the run was like up to 70 degrees. That was like the max. That's like nothing for this graphics card. All right. Let's have it. Let's see if it even runs. Let's see if it doesn't crash.
I think it crashed.
It could be.
No, Afterburner's still working.
I don't know. I don't see anything changing. It could just be that it's still loading. Gotta have a little patience, guys.
You smell that?
Did you fart?
I was talking about the PC.
Oh, no, not really. I still see some things changing, so it could be that it's just loading up.
Yeah, it takes a long time.
Maybe I should have restarted 3D Mark just to be sure. Could also be. It is still ticking slowly, like 0 or 1 FPS. Maybe it needed the demo to warm up or something.
I think you put memory dry.
Did I?
I would say.
Hmm.
Did you test it before?
Yeah.
And?
It worked.
Maybe put on the airco?
It could be, yeah.
That's like cheating.
Yeah, you lower the room temperature a bit.
Yeah.
Alright, maybe we'll just abort this one. Because I think now it is kind of...
So I'm going to main view, you can reboot it.
Yeah. Well, if it needs to be rebooted even.
I think so. Just reboot.
Alright, well, guys, this happens.
Live.
And of course it happens on stream as well.
Yeah, always.
But this is just, you know, so you guys can also see, if this should happen to you, there's no need to panic.
Port real is very sensitive in case of overclocking. Time spies are better.
Okay, that could be it. I did do it as a test before the stream as well.
Gaming Z is dead. No, we don't worry.
No, guys, don't worry about it.
Did you reboot it?
No. Now I'm rebooting it.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, I had so many funny things on the stream that you know, you tested before and you have a score and then
It's always like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, we shouldn't shy away from trying to show you guys what happens live. And also, you know, this is real life. At home, this can also happen. And you guys should be able to know that this is nothing to be afraid of. It can happen. You just reboot and it should be working again.
Welcome.
Yep, there we go.
Load up Afterburner.
Yeah, just give it a second. It always needs to load up some stuff.
Yeah.
So indeed, you know, load up Afterburner, here we go. And as you can see, by the way, we're rebooted back, or we're reset back to the default values automatically. But I'm not giving up. So, okay, so maybe the memory overclock was too high. So let's do 850. That's 100 megahertz lower. And let's just close some programs. Yeah, 3D Mark. Because we do want to show you guys that, you know, that there is actually something to gain from doing this overclocking. Oh. So it could be, like guys in the chat are saying, that this benchmark is really sensitive to overclocking, so that this isn't the best example. But, yeah, I want to try it regardless. And actually, also, I didn't install TimeSpy. I only had time to install one benchmark. Come on! Let's do this.
Will the smoke be ray traced?
Probably.
Yeah, this looks much better.
Here we go, here we go. Alright, so as you can see, it's running on 1980, 65 megahertz in the top right, being 99%, 100% used, about 70, 71 degrees.
So temperatures are fine like
Memory
this.
speed, as you can see, was 7001, is now 7851, so that's plus the 850 that I put in Afterburner. And as you can see, CPU is pretty much not being used at all. FPS 19, so we'll see how it goes. I think it was around this point that it was like 17 before, so that's like 2 FPS gain, but we'll see in the end result. And you know, per card this will always be different, so one card will overclock like hell and the other card you
Unloved Homie is saying what is he saying? Fails make everything more believable. That's true.
Yeah. Oh, I think we might have crashed again. Oh, actually, no, not really. But it did go to 1 FPS there, so might be that indeed we're stressing it too much, or this
we always
benchmark
want maximum, right?
Yeah, this benchmark might be very, very sensitive to overclocking, so it might not like the fact that we've overclocked it. Could be. It is still running. It's not very... I don't think this score will be very good if I'm looking at this.
Did you test it?
Yes, like I said, I did. And before it did run, actually. I had it on plus 950 megahertz on the memory as well.
What was your score?
The score was, I think, like... now it was 3784. I think it was 8038. Like 100 points more, something like that. So it's like maybe like 3% gain or something like this. But that's only in the ray tracing part. And my screen went black again. So yeah, I think it's like you said that probably it doesn't like this benchmark doesn't like the overclock.
Yeah.
But maybe I can prove that in a game actually it probably doesn't matter. So maybe we can boot up Battlefield again.
Again?
Battlefield. With the overclock settings.
So,
because you know benchmarks do stress the GPU quite a bit more than benchmarks stress the GPU quite a bit more than an actual game does.
Yeah. So while Peter is rebooting, we have a giveaway. Like everybody knows, NVIDIA has a game bundle with 2060 and 2070.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, and 2080 and 2080 Ti.
Yeah, with 2060, 2070, you get either one of the games, and with 2070 of 2080 and 2080 Ti, you get both of the games.
Yes.
And it's not only if you purchase an MSI VJ card, also if you purchase an MSI gaming desktop like Trident or Infinite. And we're also giving away some game codes, so please go to msi.com/2/insider to participate. I already posted in the chat. So question of Riley, does Portreal max VRAM?
That's a good question. I didn't enable, I mean I would have to look at VRAM usage. I think it does.
Maybe show, sure. I also see some talking about FreeSync. Maybe show that part.
Yeah. That was actually the thing that kept popping up, and I kept saying, "Wait your turn."
Yeah.
Starting from the driver update that we received yesterday from NVIDIA, NVIDIA is now officially supporting adaptive sync.
Yeah.
Which basically means
FreeSync.
Well, it's you know the AMD brand of that is FreeSync.
Yeah.
NVIDIA is now calling it G-Sync compatible.
Yeah.
They have a list, and they will keep testing and verifying screens that are officially supported by them.
I saw the list, and I think they just validated one panel from one vendor, and that's it. And probably they will do like this, you know. They don't validate... Well, first they validate the panels, and then they look at the individual monitors.
Yeah.
So, you know...
So as you can see, guys, the monitor I'm using here is the MPG 27... CQ, which is the 1440p monitor. It's set to full HD for you guys because it's being captured, of course. But it's a 144 Hz monitor, and it has a adaptive sync range of, just off the top of my head, 48 Hz to 144.
Yes.
So basically that means that any FPS level in between those values should be supported by adaptive sync. Now, if you have an NVIDIA card, previously that did you no good. You know, there was nothing you could do with it. Now, actually, there is. How do you do it? It's actually quite easy. So, make sure you install the latest NVIDIA drivers that were released yesterday, so 15th of January. If you have those, go to your, just right click somewhere on your desktop. You will see the NVIDIA control panel there. Click on it. It will give you a menu. And probably, if your monitor already will support it, it will pop up this this window already, the option. So basically, it will show you these options are pretty much almost always there, but this one is new. Set up G-Sync. That one wasn't there before. And it will, this one I think usually is already enabled. It will tell you by showing an NVIDIA logo on the monitor which one is actually supported, because this one is the capture card. Of course, it's not supported with the variable refresh rate, but monitor is. And as you can see, it's the MPG 27CQ. and this one will be disabled. So basically it will tell you, okay, so you have a monitor that is hypothetically able to do it. However, it is saying the selected display is not validated as G-Sync compatible. So that's true. Our monitor is not officially validated by NVIDIA. However, it can still do it. All you need to do to still enable it is just tick this box and then go to apply. That's it. It'll take a while, a few seconds, and then it will apply it. There you go. So now it's actually applied. That's it. Now it's doing the adaptive sync.
Yeah.
The way you test to see if it's working is...
Good question.
well, on our monitor, and this actually cannot be... I don't think the capture card captures it, but there is an option to enable you to display the refresh rate on your monitor, but this is done through the software on the monitor itself. So it's not being done by the PC, it's done by the monitor. That's why it won't be captured if I enable it. It's the same type of software that we use to, for example, paint the crosshair. Yeah, you can show it maybe with this cam. Yeah, that's a good idea.
This is not practiced.
Yeah, so there's a lot of potential.
We have a problem.
Oh,
the
yeah.
cable is too short.
Well, maybe I can just flip the screen like this. Here you go. Maybe I can get even a little bit closer with the monitor. Maybe that will help. So basically you want to probably look at the left top. So this is the software, by the way, and I'm accessing this by pressing the button. There's like a joystick on the back of the monitor. That's the click you hear. So here I go to refresh rate, and I go to on, and I can probably even on the top right, you'll see it pop up now. There's 144. Maybe I can move it to the top right, because you can also set where it should show up. Location, right top. And now, there we go. You guys see the 144 here? There you go. So that's 144, that means it's running at 144 hertz, the monitor, the panel. And now it should also be synchronized with NVIDIA, with the graphics card, with the FPS it's putting out.
Camera has some stability issues.
Are you okay?
Yeah. me fine.
Okay. So now I'm gonna, let's see what is best. I'll probably just boot up this again.
Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, exactly. Something along those lines. But the interesting thing is, when the FPS actually fluctuates, you will see this number also start to change. So I'll see, just run Battlefield 5. So this is, at least on our monitors, for example, here, this is a way to see, is it actually working? You should be able to experience a bit smoother,
gameplay?
Yeah, visuals.
Image, yeah.
Because that's the whole point of adaptive sync or G-Sync or all those things, or FreeSync. So let's see when the game actually starts running and doing something with the FPS. That's not yet, apparently, or is just still running at 144. Could also be. Let's play.
Does that change?
Sorry?
Will that number change?
This?
Yeah?
Yeah, because we don't get the 144 FPS. So depending on the FPS...
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or at least... Again, I tested this. Just like the overclock. Yeah. Oh, damn. We were just late. It's now full. Come on. Let's do this one then.
Why not?
Because it was full. It just...
Yeah. Escape.
No. Now this one should be...
not joining. You're not in the queue.
No. Here we go. So when the game loads... that number should change.
Hey, somebody wants a RTX 2060. He lives in Africa. I'm sorry. But you can win a game code.
Yes.
Go to MSI.com/insider. MSI.com/2/insider.
Game just ended. That's nice.
What a bad luck.
Yep. I would expect the frame rate to already fluctuate here, so it's a bit weird. that I'm not seeing it change. Yeah, you're already laughing.
Yeah, I'm already laughing.
I tested it yesterday. It did indeed, because that was the I thought, like, whoa, that actually changed. Normally, if I set it to 144, it's just 144,
wasn't that
and that's
the
it.
FPS counter?
No, that's, well, it should be the same now. FPS or this. Come on.
30.
But probably, yeah. Let me check it again, just to be sure. It takes a while for the game to start. I don't think this is this should be 144 FPS, but you know, it could be wrong.
Can be the maximum.
Yeah. But let's see. FPS should definitely be lower once we're in the game. I don't think it's linked yet. Crap. So yeah, that was a nice idea. Maybe we can also show it with Afterburner. There we can show the actual FPS in the game. But I don't think it's working on this one. Maybe it also depends. I don't know if it's game dependent. I don't think so. It shouldn't be, actually. But
I don't see Afterburner. Okay.
Here we go. All right. Well, we are getting pretty good FPS, as you can see. Look at that, 120. All right, that's not bad at all.
But the number not changing.
No. So that's strange, because it should be. Let's check again, just to be sure if the option is enabled. Where's my mouse? Where is my mouse? Video control panel.
Aha.
No, it is enabled.
Yeah.
Let's just check this one to be sure. Maybe I'm running in windowed mode without knowing it or something. I don't know. Apply.
Well, it's good that you prepared everything.
Yes.
No better live demo
Nope.
than that.
Yeah. Real life, guys. Stuff happens in real life.
Well,
right,
now you're windowed for sure.
Exactly, yeah. Now it looks windowed for sure. Oh. Okay. Whatever. Yeah, it doesn't change for some reason. Okay, that's weird. I tested it in a couple of games. Also Battlefield yesterday.
We believe you.
I don't think it's
so
running at...
maybe next week we do like lightning, and you can have a week to test it.
DXR is also... This is actually with ray tracing off, guys. If you were wondering, everything on Ultra. The game fully on Ultra. Running on 1080p with a 2060. You get over 100 FPS easy. So
wow.
that is confirmed though.
Yeah.
And nice. Still, I mean, the game looks gorgeous. This is the difference though. There's no ray tracing. There's no reflections. So yeah.
So you have 1 week to test?
Something like that.
And next week?
Yeah. Next week we should have some better stuff. Yeah. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe I do a lucky draw because
yes.
Peter.
Yeah. Well, what can we say?
And the next winner of game code is Edward Tavares from Canada. Congratulations, Edward. So tomorrow we will send you the game code. I think that's it for this week, right, Peter?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, so we talked about RTX 2060 Gaming Z. It's now in the case, so we cannot show it to you anymore. You know, when you were playing the game,
messing around,
I prepared something.
Uh-oh.
Is this some nice title for next week?
Yeah, I guess we can't, you know, get out of it any longer. So yeah, next week.
I think, and then we will, you know, you have 1 week to test your FPS counter, to maybe test the memory overclocks.
Yeah.
How far you can go.
I also think that we shouldn't do the ray tracing benchmark when we're doing overclocking. So indeed, I'll put on some more traditional benchmarks for you guys.
7 days time to prepare.
Yeah, don't worry about it. So we'll have some benchmarks. Again, you know, Port Royal is also quite new, so yeah, it handled the benchmark earlier quite well. Now it doesn't. Makes sense when you say it's very sensitive to overclocking. So we'll do some benchmarks that do very well with overclocking. So yeah, but next week we'll be handling this beast, and as you can see, it's also quite nice. This is an actual carbon fiber backplate. Look at that. It's stronger than steel, actually. Really nice. Anyway, that's next week.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching, and see you next week.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Nice evening.